My name is Nick Fraser and I'm editor of BBC Storyville, which is the BBC's series of international documentaries. I really like coming to Israel and I love coming to Tel Aviv, and Israel is one of those places I told myself when I started doing Storyville 18 years ago that I would try and understand Israel, but it takes a long time to understand Israel, and it does change. Bewilderingly it changes, and whatever seems to stay the same doesn't actually stay the same, so you have to keep on coming back, talking to people, looking at things, and it's a wonderful, tormented, complicated society. I think Israel has one of the best documentary communities in the world. The overall level of skill is extraordinary, and it would be possible to run channels of Israeli documentaries outside Israel. The problem is there's only so much about Israel that the rest of the world wants to know, and so there's a surplus of good films in relation to the documentary market as far as Israel goes. People find it hard to want to know more about the conflict with the Palestinians and the lack of resolution of the '67 war and its legacy. But I think Israelis continue to make brilliant, often critical films on this subject. And I know periodically the government doesn't like the films that Israeli filmmakers end up making. But what was very encouraging this time was the visit of the president, who made it very clear that he regarded these critical films as being very important. I think the second thing the world is very interested in is the astonishing pluralism and often sheer weirdness of life in Israel. I mean, the subcultures are baffling and fascinating. This is a tiny country that has the most public gay movement in the whole world. At the same time, you travel for 3/4 of an hour and you enter religious communities that haven't really changed since they were set up in Poland in the mid-18th century. And this is very confusing, but it's very wonderful the way all these communities coexist. Sometimes they coexist very badly, as the president said. Never mind about solving the problems between Palestinians and Israelis. The problems between Jews are just as serious. I mean, the conflicts within Israel over questions like education, joining the army, who you are, how you define your Judaism or your Jewishness are really complicated and really interesting. Well, I have to be careful, because if I were left to my own desires, I would fill channels up with stuff about Israel, but from time to time they come and tell me, you've got too many films about Israel. We have a film going out very soon called Forever Pure about the Jerusalem football team. It's really jaw-droppingly interesting. It will be very controversial. It will cause a lot of anger, but it's a very good film. I think that training to do pitches is partly a waste of time, because the really important thing about a pitch is that in a very simple way you tell people like me why you want to make the film and what the film is going to be. And if you think I'm critical, it's usually because it's an effort to get the filmmakers to come to these conclusions and tell me what they really mean to do. It's because something isn't quite clear, or I don't understand something, or feel that the filmmaker's gone partly in the wrong direction. And I would never criticize very inexperienced people, and I would always criticize people in order to try to help them get where, in my view, they should be. If they don't want to take my advice, they needn't. It's a free country, it's a free world, and we're only talking about documentaries anyhow.